IVM.
Hi everybody, this is Amit Doshi, and I have a request. We'd really appreciate it if you could go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill out our survey over there. It's going to take a few minutes to do, but it gives us some really interesting information that we can take to advertisers and brands about who's listening to the network. If you're comfortable giving us your email address, while you're filling out the survey, we'll enter you into a random drawing where we'll be sending out a bunch of IVM swag to some of our listeners. Last year we sent out coffee mugs, and this year we're hoping to send out much cooler stuff. That's ivmpodcast.com/survey. We really appreciate your help.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Positively Unlimited podcast. We've been going through a series of beautiful words and powerful mindsets to help you work on your relationship, on your love life. From A to, T so far, we've been talking about various things that we go through in our relationships, one of the most core and central equations of our life, and an area that we put a lot of focus on. Well, today we are on the letter U, and the word that I've chosen is called ultimatums. Now, this is a very interesting word because at some level, a lot of us have been taught to give ultimatums. A lot of us have been conditioned to believe that unless we demand something at gunpoint in our relationship, it will not happen, it will not be given to us. The most common type of ultimatum that we throw in a relationship is for marriage. Marry me or else. Commit to me or else. Behave in XYZ way or else. Quit smoking or you will lose me. Quit drinking or you will lose me. Choose between this vice or me. But the truth is, ultimatums never work. Yes, on the outside, it may seem like it is working. However, on the inside, somebody is pretending. That person is going to feel a certain sense of resentment towards you and this relationship over a period of time. And in all likelihood, they're also going to continue doing exactly what they promised not to do behind your back. Ultimatums are not the appropriate way of moving forward in your love life. Now, let's look at it in two different aspects. One is when you want somebody to stop doing something that you think is bad for them, but it's a vice that they have chosen. Well, in that scenario, I'm going to ask you to go back and listen to the episode called Acceptance. I think it's episode 125. Now, why is it that you need to do that? Because you need to accept your partner with all their strengths and flaws, which means that when you are dating them, if they smoke and you have accepted that at that point, you don't get to throw an ultimatum just because you've gotten married. That does not work. Yes, if there is a life and death situation, that's an exception to the rule. There is a way of negotiating. Even there, ultimatums don't work. The biggest mistake that a lot of us make in relationships is we accept a lot of things in the dating phase, in the courting phase. And then when we get married, we start to put these rules and regulations down. And that is when all the trouble starts to brew. Because suddenly this person who was completely accepted by you is feeling rejected, is feeling questioned, is feeling criticized. If you did not want to date a smoker, or if you did not want to marry a smoker, rather, you shouldn't have dated the person in the first place. Also remember one thing, there will be certain vices or certain behaviors which, despite you not liking them, your partner will still continue because they don't see anything wrong with it. You have a choice whether you are willing to accept them with it or not. But what you are not allowed to do and what you should not be doing is throwing ultimatums or putting them at gunpoint and saying, do this or else. That, my friend, is being unfair. That, my friend, is being inauthentic. That is you trying to control a situation, trying to make somebody or something fit into a box that you have created. And that's not the right thing to do. The second thing or the second aspect of ultimatums is when we demand a commitment, or we demand marriage, or we demand that somebody take the relationship to the next phase, whether it is getting married or having a child. Well, here's the thing. You have to realize that these are decisions where both people have to have the same desire. They have to be on the same page. So no, you don't get to throw an ultimatum, because when you do that, in all likelihood, the person is saying yes because they are afraid of losing you. However, they are still unwilling to put in the effort that it will take. So they may say yes to marriage, or they may say yes to having a child because they don't want to lose you. But at the same time, they will not make the effort to live that particular decision. There will always be a struggle, and the resentment will brew and resentment will grow. When it comes to getting married and having a child, a lot of us have been conditioned to believe, and I'm going to pick up a stereotype, a gender stereotype here, that men don't want to get married or men don't want to have children. And the only way to make them do that is to put them at gunpoint. Well, let me tell you this, times have changed, and there are as many women out there who don't want to get married and don't want to have children. When two people feel a certain way about each other, when two people have similar goals and a similar vision for life, then certain decisions will be taken mutually. Certain important life decisions will be and should be taken mutually. Both people have to be on the same page. If you want to understand this aspect a little bit more, listen to the episode in this particular series of A to Z called Goals. Because you will understand that two people in an equation need to have a particular vision for life, as well as a set of goals, even though these are emotional and personal goals. The both of you must have a similar picture in mind for your relationship and for your life before you proceed. And the way to create that picture, the way to put down that narrative, is through conversation and communication, and not through ultimatums. If you have to give somebody an ultimatum to get something that you want in a relationship, then there is something very wrong there. There is a crack in that commitment. There is a crack in that equation. There is lack of acceptance, and there is an underlying desperation to control a particular situation or the direction in which your relationship is going to go. If you are feeling the urge to throw an ultimatum, you need to face your fears. You need to understand what is going on and why is it that the two of you are not on the same page or moving in the same direction. I'll tell you one more thing, and I'm sure I have repeated this statement in this series at some point. You have to learn to agree to disagree. Yes, there will be times in a relationship where one person wants something and the other person does not want it, and the person who does not want it may win, which means at some point one person will have to be a part of the team, take one for the team. As you listen to this episode today, my one wish for you is that you drop the belief that you have that unless you give an ultimatum, it will not happen for you. Drop this belief, drop this thinking. Remember one thing, when it comes to love, relationships, commitment, it has to come from a space of willingness and desire. Anything less than this should be unacceptable. You'd much rather deal with the disappointment and the heartache and move on in life than be stuck with somebody who is doing something unwillingly. So once again, ultimatums are not the answer. On this note, I'm going to head out from here, but I hope that you've been enjoying this series of A to Z. The next one that we're going to be doing, which will be starting in a few weeks, is going to be about life purpose. Yes, the next series of A to Z that I'm going to be recording is going to be all about finding and living your life purpose. But for now, we're talking about relationships. Make sure that you go back to the IVM website or the IVM app and listen to this series from episode 125 onwards. Every letter has a beautiful perspective and a powerful mindset that can help you ease things, that can help you heal things in your relationships. Also, if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach out to us on IVM Podcasts on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to talk to me, you can DM me on Instagram. My handle is Positivity Angel. So on that note, I'm going to head out and I'm going to catch you again in the next episode. Oh, which by the way is going to be one kick-ass episode because it's all about V for validation.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I wanted to kind of just give a quick reminder to everybody. As I mentioned up top, we are doing our annual listener survey right now. If you could please go and take a couple of minutes out of your day and fill it out, we would really, really appreciate it. It's ivmpodcast.com/survey. If you're comfortable giving us your email address, we'll enter you into a random drawing, and we're going to be sending out swag to a bunch of randomly selected listeners. So do definitely get on board that train. Let me tell you a little bit about what we did on the network this week. We launched a new show called Zindagi Diaries with Ragini Kumar. Many of you might have seen Ragini on television during the IPL. She's a presenter, but she's showing a different side of herself over here with a poetry podcast. Give it a shot, give it a listen. Let me know what you all think. Vishal Gondal is back this week after a while. He's been on an extended break, but he has Rahul Narvekar for the first episode. Really interesting conversation. Do check it out. Raji Samant joins Gauri Devidayal on This Round Is On Me. The two talk about the wine business and what's going on there. We had a number of conversations about the Farmers Bill and the surrounding agitation this week on the network as well. Maruk Inayat had a great episode on the note. Pulya Bazi did a deep dive into the issues around this. And on Siders, we have our typical, fun conversation about this stuff with a little bit of a seriousness, a little bit of fun. Do check that out on Cock and Bull on Thursday last week. Akash Mehta joined us for that episode. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
जिंदगी डायरीज के पन्नों में कुछ पुरानी यादें, समुंदर किनारे झूमते दरख्त, जवान दिल की धड़कनें और अनजान मुलाकातें हैं। तो आइए खोलिए मेरे साथ जिंदगी डायरी के पन्ने और साथ ही खुलकर जीते हैं जिंदगी। आप सुन सकते हैं जिंदगी डायरीज IVM पॉडकास्ट ऐप या वेबसाइट पर, या जहां कहीं से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो।